So everybody good?
Yes.
Justin, are we ready? Okay. Oh, okay. We will welcome everybody to this special called meeting. This time we ask that you stand for a moment of silence followed by the pledge. And now the pledge.
I
pledge
pledge
allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of America
and to
and
the
the
republic
for which
for
it
which it
stands,
stands, one
one
nation,
nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice
and
for
justice
all.
for all.
Review of the agenda and adoption of the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Ms. Hall.
I'll second that motion.
I think Paula spoke first, so we'll give it to Paula. Second by Ms. Thomas. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Public comments. Who was it you have on here,
Who
Dora?
is Miss Mattingly? And did you want to say anything, Miss Mattingly?
I don't think so. If you guys are good, I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. She reached out to me and she just wanted, she gave me her perspective as a parent. So we'll get into it. I think that's our next agenda item. So.
Okay. Consider approval of overnight field trip to Asbury College for the girls soccer team. So Becky, I'm going to kind of turn this over to you a little bit because I reached out to you and there was some concerns there. And I know that you hadn't got a chance to talk to some of the other board members.
So this was brought to my attention kind of late, but the only from a legal perspective, I know there was an issue about the trip, parents transporting children to the trip, and because of the way our liability insurance is structured and board policy, that's typically not allowed because parents can transport their own child, but parents transporting other children. So that was the issue. But Mr. Howard, please correct me. I think that may have been remedied.
Ms. McCoy, I'm having a really hard time understanding what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Can you hear me now? I have a speaker that's not working too well.
I mean, I can hear you. I just wanted to make sure I understand what you're saying. So.
Okay. Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the primary issue with the agenda item, I think Ms. Ritchie's referring to as it was written, was the transportation assistance and parent vehicles. I think there may have been some changes with that. I'll defer to Mr. Howard.
So we, Coach East actually, our AD, arranged for a bus to be there this morning to transport the team. So they plan currently, and again, Mr. East, if I need correcting, just let me know. So they're actually currently being translated or transported by school bus. So the parents are not doing that currently.
Yes, I spoke with Coach Contreras about 6 o'clock this morning, and just asked him to get with Mr. Wasson and make sure that they did have transportation so that we would not. I shared the policy with him last night that if they're traveling with 10 or more kids, that we needed to make sure that we were taking a bus. So that was all taken care of today.
So when can I ask? I don't know if this would be for Terry, Brandon, or who this would be for, or maybe Miss Mattingly. Who I don't know who to ask this to, but when was this trip paid for?
I honestly don't know when it was paid for. I know it is paid for, but I'm not on the board. I'm really just speaking as a parent. I don't know that part.
Okay. Do you know, Mr. East?
No, I'll just be honest with you. Last night I got a phone call because there was a question. The question was actually about how to communicate with between the coach and the parents with the new SB 181, and it was because of the trip, the overnight trip. And if I'm being honest, that was the first time that it was shared with me. So I was really caught off guard. And as soon as I found out that this trip was occurring, I immediately got in touch with Mr. Watkins because, to be honest, I was a little disappointed that I didn't know about the trip. However, I was really concerned for the group because they had already invested $5,000 in this trip. And part of it probably was the fact that Coach Contreras has been out of the country for over a month, doing his mission trip that he does every summer. And I think that the Booster Club actually did a really good job of getting everything ready. I think they just didn't realize that we probably ought to contact administration and see if we've done everything correctly. And so so when I found out that it was happening, I immediately got in touch with Mr. Watkins, and he kind of took it from there with Mr. Howard, and then the ladies did get everything back to me pretty quickly yesterday so that we could get it on the board agenda. But everything was well prepared. I think that they had seen some of the things that were working really well with the boys program, and they were taking this trip in advance of the season. And what they've been doing is they've taken the returning kids, and they've made this an opportunity for the returning kids to get to take this, to go on these camps. And what the girls team did, which was absolutely exceptional, was that they planned 2 camps. One for the returning players to get to go to Asbury, and they also scheduled a camp that will start tomorrow at GRC, where Georgetown College will come in, and they will be working with all other young ladies, 7th grade through 12th grade, at a camp at GRC for the next 2 days.
So let me ask a quick question really quick. So in knowing that, and Ms. Mattingly may be able to help answer this, but are all the girls that are attending the Asbury College trip, were they on varsity last year?
They were not all on varsity last year, but they're all the upperclassmen that are coming back for soccer this year.
Okay, I was contacted by the coach's wife and Gloria Contreras, and she was telling me that the trip was paid for in June and that they had new boosters this year. That's the reason they didn't know. They haven't been through the Red Book training, so they didn't know the procedure to go through. And she said it was varsity, junior and seniors that were invited. They'd also set up the other camp too. That's what she was saying. But she said they always are rule followers, and this would never have happened if they'd known what they needed to do. But it was just new boosters that had come in.
When is the Red Book training?
The Red Book training is set for Monday, July the 28th.
So what do we do in the future to keep this from happening?
Yeah.
Well, so already today, I sent an email to every coach in the program to remind them. I sent them what the information for field trips, overnight trips, out-of-state trips, and made it very clear that this information needs to be shared with athletic administration first, and then it needs to be submitted to Christy Jones at GRC 6 to 8 weeks in advance of the trip, so that it gets approved through site-based council and through the board, so that this does not occur again.
Site-based is not even going to get a chance to approve this.
Unfortunately, they are not. But Mr. Arms has been made aware, and we wanted to just I know that we need to make sure that it got to you, or it would not matter at all.
So do we know?
Go ahead, Corey.
I know that they posted the itinerary in that email, about the camp and everything. Do we know anything about like other than the fact that that McKaylee was going to be the only adult staying in the dorms with them? Do we know anything about anything else? Like if there's any other adults present, like they're in the dorms staying there, like part of the actual program that they're putting on? Like, do we know any of that stuff?
Coach Contreras is also there. He's just not in the same dorm with the young ladies. Coach Cofer is there as the female rep, but there are other camp counselors and other adults that Asbury has coordinated that are also staying at the camp. The biggest reason. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say that was like my first initial response to it was like just with all the other safe sport training and everything else like involving minors and people in a professional environment like that was that observable and interruptible. Like there's got to be more than one adult present to make sure that there's not, and that means at all times like it's one person staying off and one person. So like I'm sure there may be like some councils actually present ours too, but we weren't provided any of that, right? We don't know. And that was just my initial question. I was like, what how do we don't know anything about what's going on or how this is happening, anything about it. So it was just it was just kind of a shock, especially getting it so late. So
it was definitely a shock to all of us, and I certainly we'll make sure this doesn't happen again. I will tell you that one of the reasons why it is important for them to do the overnight is like their last game today is not till 9 p.m. And I think Asbury is approximately by bus an hour and 15 or 20 minutes away. And then they have to be back there at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning for, I think breakfast at the camp starts at 7 a.m. before they play again.
It's just a really great opportunity for them. I read through the agenda, and having that experience before, while they're still in high school, to see what it's like to be on a college campus and all that. And the parents have invested into it. So, I feel like Mr. Youth, you've given us my biggest concern is just, improving communications moving forward. It sounds like that you have already gotten that ball rolling, so to speak. So,
yes, ma'am.
And Mrs. Mattingly had reached out to me, and I wanted her to know that we do care about the children, and we want them to have a really great experience. So I didn't mean to put you on the spot, Miss Mattingly. So please forgive me for doing that. But it's being involved and knowing that we're always making decisions what is best for our children and kids in Clark County. That's how we make our decisions. So.
That's totally fine. Honestly, like I'm glad that you put me, let me kind of witness you guys speaking and everything. And just to let everybody know, like it wasn't anybody trying to like get around anything. It truly was just a misunderstanding and kind of a miscommunication.
Well, my opinion is I think it would hurt the kids worse at this point, to bring them back. Them have to come home every night and then go back, especially if it's already been paid for. I would hate to see us do something that, because parents and us adults that are supposed to have our shit together don't. I'm sorry, excuse my language, but it happened, and so I think we would be better off for the kids, as long as Ms. McCoy tells us that there's no ramifications for anything for us from allowing this to go on with not already having the prior approval.
Can you all hear me? I've got an auxiliary mic that's not working right now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
As long as the board approves it, that triggers your coverage for your insurance. So overnight trips and out-of-state trips, the board needs explicit approval. So whether it started earlier today, as long as the board has approved it, that should trigger coverage. And I think the transportation issue's been rectified. So those were my two legal concerns.
Okay.
Unless there's any other questions.
Does anyone else have anything? Because I would like to make a motion to approve the trip, the overnight.
I'll second it.
Motion by Ms. Hall, second by Mr. Kaiser. All those in favor say aye.
I,
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all.
thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Do what? What'd you say, Paula?
Oh, I said, thank you, Mr. Yeast.
Oh. Okay. Consider approval of revised consent for outside traceable communications procedure 08.2324 AP.2.
So I kind of mentioned this to each one of you guys individually, and I've invited Ms. Fithen if you have any questions. But essentially, we're trying to tighten up the waiver so it's much less cumbersome. And if a parent does want to be included in the communication, we'll just revert back to the two-way communication system with Parent Square, and that will keep us covered without putting every parent on every group text message that a coach or sponsor or whatever would send out. So we kind of fell into this based on us implementing the legislation over the last 8-9 days.
So this allows them to sign the waiver, and it just be like kind of a coverall, more or less, or are we still having? Do they? Yeah. I mean, this whole thing's still super confusing, and
It is.
everything that's tied to it.
So the only way that a coach or staff in Clark County, period, or volunteer, frankly, is if they list their name specifically on the waiver, and that gives them permission to communicate outside. If they don't fill out the waiver, they do not get to communicate.
Yeah, so they have to list each individual person that can communicate with the student individually.
Correct. And then what our team, Ms. Fithen and her staff, and Tiffany Austin, have done a tremendous job of building in a sorting program that then sorts all those names into individual staff so we can update them on who exactly they can communicate with so they don't accidentally violate. Again, huge shout out to Ms. Fithen and Ms. Austin. They've done tremendous work in just short 8 days. And this is something they brought to me to make it even easier and not something actually we got to track.
So this form, will it be good for a year, for 3 months?
The adjustment that we're making is good until they say it's not good. At any point,
so once they enter the high school,
correct,
then
or
it will be good the whole time they're there.
Correct, unless they revoke it. We'll open it up each year for our online registration, so they can always have a chance yearly to change it, just as a reminder. But if they don't, we'll have the waiver there until they revoke it. And again, they can revoke it at any time. The only thing that we've asked is a grace period of 1 to 3 days, so that we can process and let the staff know, so that unintentionally, if a parent revokes it at 2:00, our staff texts at 3 and doesn't know. That's just not the intention of the law, in my opinion. So that's kind of something we put in place.
Okay.
Sorry, Ms. Fithen, I talked for you. I apologize.
All is good. You said it well.
So I guess we just need a motion to accept this.
Yes. Any more discussion, or would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Dorsey. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Consider approval of being a table host sponsor for the Clark Equity Coalition Gala.
Ms. Hall, if it's okay, I'll turn this one over to you.
Yes, sorry. I've got lots of stuff going on at my house. Our air conditioner's on the fritz. So
Do you have a
I
donkey
just
also?
went through that too.
the gentleman is here to look at it. So I represent us, the board on the Equity Coalition, and we are the coalition is having a gala on August the 31st, and that's a Sunday, and it's going to be at the hall at the Episcopal Church, and the theme is Old Hollywood. So this is a fundraiser for all of the things that the coalition does. You know, they have the interpreter program, like the medical interpreter program. They do a lot of mentoring with the Black and brown population. They can help get them computers. Just some wonderful things they do in our school system. And my idea was if we could sponsor a table that we could potentially maybe invite some of the people that work closely with the coalition. I know Mr.
Hold
Kugel,
on, Dora. We just had somebody else join. Do we know who?
I think it was Mr. Sutherland, and he is one of the parents for the girls soccer team. And Mr. Sutherland, we've approved that trip, so it is all good to go.
That's a female.
Oh, Mrs. Sutherland, I'm sorry. Okay, they left. So I'll email them back. They emailed me just a little bit ago. So I would like to sponsor a table. It's $600 as a board table. I just think that giving back to this particular group is important because they help a lot of our disenfranchised students. So that was just my thoughts. And I'm working with them to get some silent auction items. So it's going to be a fun time. But I thought if we can invite maybe some, I don't know if there's key, like Mr. Kugel or any other key people, Mr. Howard, that you can think of that could potentially attend.
Sure, I would just need to know how many seats, and then how many seats the board. Okay, the board takes up, and then absolutely, I plan on attending that night as well. So we'll just fill in where we need to.
Yes,
if approved.
That's my idea. Now, if more than that wants to come, then maybe some of us could also buy a ticket. Like I'm coming alone. My husband works on Sunday, so but I think it'll be a fantastic time, and we are the newest Supreme Court Justice, Pamela Goodwine, is going to be one of the speakers, and she has been active around here in Clark County. She came to I don't know if she was at the pie breakfast this year. She was last year. And then we're trying to get someone from the governor's office to come talk. So when I say we, I mean them. They are working very hard. I'm not really doing all that. But that is my thought on it. And I feel like this is such a great community partnership. We've come a long way in the past 2 years. I'm currently doing a leadership training with them that they paid for. So I'm representing the board in that way. And I'm actually missing part of it to be here tonight. So, but I just wanted to throw that out there and see what our other board members think. And if we can make a motion to approve that.
When is it, Dora?
It's August the 31st. It's the Labor Day weekend.
Oh, okay.
I would not be able to attend that. That's my baby's birthday.
That's important. Yeah. I think if we had representation is really the key. So
I may be able to attend. I just gotta look at my schedule. So we need a motion to approve this table. I'll make a motion to do that.
Motion by Mr. Kaiser,
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Thomas. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Sorry. I
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Dorsey,
I'll second.
second by Mr. Kaiser. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Well done, gentlemen.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you all.
Bye.
have a good night.
See you
See you
guys.
guys.